Good morning, my darlings. Good morning. How the heck are you? And she forgot the light. There we go. That should help a little bit. All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Hope you're well wherever you are in the world. Let me just adjust a little. There we go. I think that'll help. So welcome to my weekly live Q&A session. Do say hello to me in the comments if you are joining me. I'm just doing a few of the old tech stuff. You know how it is, girls. Get things sorted, get them up on the screen, off you go, all that kind of thing. And it won't do it again. Don't you love that? This is me trying to learn how to do things. I'll do that and I'll come back to it, I think, in a minute. Let's just say hello to everyone, shall I? So good morning, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is my YouTube Live. I do it every single Thursday. So whether you are at home folding laundry, wrangling kids, or feeling really sad and alone in the shower, wondering how you're going to get through this day, you are welcome in this space on the internet that I host every single week. I am here to listen, to guide, to share my own journey, but also, of course, the experience of women that I work with. I know that you're busy and probably juggling a million things, and I know that it can be difficult for us girls to actually take a moment just for ourselves and give ourselves an opportunity to slow down, take things easy, and to kind of put ourselves in the frame, in the picture. So I want you to do a quick check-in, which I do every single week when I start. How are you going? I find that if I can pick a number 0 to 10, and I can think about, where I'm at in this moment, it's really helpful for me. So 0 being life is a bag of poop, and 10 being I'm as good as gold. Maybe you're somewhere in between that. So let me know that in the comments. This week, where am I sitting? That's a very, very interesting question, and one that I'm not too sure about. I feel like I'm a bit like Wellington weather, that I am 1, then I'm 4, then I'm 7, then I'm 10, then I'm down to 2, then I'm up to 4, then I'm down to 0. This week has been a very, very, very challenging week in so many ways. So I'm going to talk about that today. I'm going to talk about hopelessness and helplessness and powerlessness. And I'm going to talk about what the heck we do with all of that. So let's start with what's got me feeling the way I'm feeling right now. What is it that's got me all hot under the collar and, wondering how we get through this mess. I'm just trying to sort out some of this stuff that's in my comments. There we go. Let's see if I can tidy it up. So why am I feeling the way I'm feeling right now? Well, I'm feeling the way I'm feeling right now because of the world. That's a lot, isn't it? The whole world. So it feels like a heavy week. It feels like a really painful, challenging, distressing, heavy week. The world is an interesting place. I'm across here in Australia, and Australia is a fairly simple country, if I'm honest. We kind of a bit WYSIWYG. What you get is what you see. Most people are kind of easygoing, go with the flow. That's the kind of culture I live in. But it's not like that everywhere, and it's not like that in the US. It's not like that in Europe, and it's not like that in Israel and Palestine. And that's a lot when you are the sort of person who watches and keeps up with the news and observes what's happening. It's a lot. It's hard to stay hopeful when everything feels like it's very broken. And I met you, but there are times in my life I felt extremely broken. Times in my life when I've thought, gosh, how does this end? This is one of the hardest things I've ever had to do in my life. Those times are really, really challenging, really distressing, really overwhelming, really, it can leave us feeling really helpless and really hopeless. Two things that I find are not helpful when we're trying to navigate and negotiate life and navigate and negotiate our feelings. So, in this time when I look, because I think looking is important and noticing is important and being a good human, which for me is bearing witness to things that I may never experience. I'm coming up for 60 years old, and in my lifetime, in my 60 years on this earthly plane, I have had the privilege of, apart from my childhood, feeling very safe and feeling like the world is a really welcoming, kind, beautiful place. But I'm noticing collective helplessness, and I'm noticing that many people in many continents on this planet are feeling quite helpless. And that can really stir in all of us old patterns and old pain. It's the same feeling that we get when a relationship ends, or we are estranged from our children, or our parents are aging and we can't do anything about it, or our kids go off the rails, and we sit there thinking, I can't help these people around me. I can't save them. I can't do anything. And I feel really helpless in that situation. And helplessness is a really embodied feeling. It's a really lived in your body experience. It's a painful, hard, challenging feeling. But for some of us, it's where we've lived our whole life inside of our bodies, feeling a bit helpless and a bit hopeless, and like we could do nothing. We can't always fix big things, and sometimes we can't fix small things, but we can find balance in this stuff. We can find ways of being in it and bringing ourselves back to the present moment and reminding ourselves, hey, hang on a second. Though we may feel like we are helpless or hopeless, there are small things we can do every single day to help steady ourselves. Maybe we can't bring back our partner. Maybe we have an estranged child who won't talk to us. Maybe we lost our job and we're not sure what we're going to do next. Maybe we are stuck in a space of not knowing and it feels really unbearable. And so in those moments, for me, the small things really matter. The really tiny, granular, like bringing things back to what I do have control over, bringing things back to what is in my stratosphere really helps. My garden is a place where I find solitude and joy and gentleness and restoration and all the things. So for me to go into my garden, which I did yesterday and spent a fair time because it's been really dry, just watering the plants and making sure that they stay alive, something that is very within my power. Eating nourishing food. I didn't feel great yesterday. I wasn't feeling well. I don't have headaches much, but yesterday I had a thundering headache. And for most of yesterday and the day before. And, noticing that, gosh, I just don't feel like much at all. But making a nourishing meal and going, this'll feed me and this will make me feel physically better. I went to the gym, which if anybody's read any of my poems, you'll know I don't like going to the gym. At least not before I get there. So I went and I moved my body, reaching out to people who are kind and compassionate and who are not going to try and fix you, but be willing to hear your suffering and pain. Get outside, breathe, take in the air. I am blessed to live in a spectacularly beautiful part of the world, and I look out of my window and I watch the whales migrate, and that is something that fills me with absolute joy. Reminding our nervous system that hopelessness is not a fact, it is a feeling, and feelings are not facts. Yesterday, I tried really hard to remind myself that both history and healing prove a couple of really important things. That change happens, and it might be slowly and it might be unevenly, but we can't control the world, and we can remain in our humanity in it, that we stay present in what is unbearable, that we show up for unbearable things, that we feel those unbearable things, and we remind ourselves that it's okay. It's okay for it to be hard. It's okay for it to be difficult to observe. It's okay, but we can still be present, and we can remind ourselves that our presence actually does matter, that being there and being present for it is important. So if you're feeling like you are struggling, if you're feeling like it's too hard, just know that that is because you are an empathetic, delicious, beautiful, kind, compassionate human being. And it is a very, very normal reaction right now of feeling really overwhelmed by this. I remind myself every day that good hearts still exist, good people still exist. Doing quiet, good work really is important, and that those headlines rarely, if ever, break through the noise. No, that the world really presents to us on spaces like this, the very worst of humanity. So I invite you to take a big, deep breath in and out, and in and out, and remind yourself there is good. There's very good things out there, and we can witness awful things and remain compassionate and do what we can. Maybe we can write on a post and be encouraging. Maybe we can say hello to somebody we see in the street who is not feeling their best. Maybe we can be kind and offer to help a neighbor. Maybe we can just do the right thing. Those things matter. They really do. So I invite you this week in this very challenging time to reflect and think about how you move through this space and time, and how you can bring compassion and kindness to your fellow human being. Until next time, take the best care of yourself, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.